Take a look at this photo. And this one, and this one. Today we are going to discuss how you can make photos just like this using your phone. Let's go.
Nani?
Now what will you learn today? Today we are going to talk about how photography can be improved using a simple technique of light and shadows. We're also going to explore how to create amazing frames and create a beautiful composition simply using your phone that you have in your pocket. Crazy! This is for absolute beginners. If you're an absolute beginner, this video should help you out. Now, all the photos that I'm gonna share with you today and bring you as an example have been number one, shot on the phone, and number two, they were not shot by me. This is my friend Geny, and all the photos that I'm gonna share with you today are her photos. Here are some of the techniques that Geny, my friend, is using to create these awesome photos on her phone. Framing, composition, using leading lines, contrast, using symmetry, using a sense of scale and depth. Technique number one. Framing, 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 framing. Framing is one of the most crucial elements to photography, you guys. Now let's explore how my friend Geny is using lights and shadows to create amazing frames using her phone. Man, take a look at this photo. Geny is a visionary. We have all this darkness and shadows around this little arch, and inside the arch it's a little bit brighter and you have your subject inside. That way your eye is guided to that subject by creating a frame utilizing shadows all around the little light in the center. Does it make sense? How about this one? Man, I love this photo. Honestly, it's my favorite. See how that little light on the ground creates a little frame for the subject to be in? And you're automatically guided to that subject because the subject is within this little frame. See where in the environment the light is casting the shadow and creates an interesting frame, and place your subject in that frame. Again, Geny took her time and made sure to find the perfect perpendicular shadows with a sliver of light in the middle, and she placed her subject right inside of it. So as a little tip that I can give you is, take your time when you take photos. Really stop and look around. My suggestion to you is, imagine you have just one shot. One shot and that's it. Really take your time. Really look into the environment and really explore how light and shadow creates interesting frames and opportunities for a photo. For example, in this photo, the subject is placed in that little doorway that creates a little frame. But also notice how that frame is brighter than the rest of the environment. Again, guiding your eye to the brightest side of the photo. Remember this, we as human beings pay attention to the brightest side of the frame. The first thing we look at when we see a picture is the brightest spot on that picture. That's where our eyes naturally gravitate to. Take advantage of that and use lights and shadows to guide your viewer to your subject. And he's wearing a kandura. Salam alaikum habibi. This is another example of how to use man-made frames, if you have to create an interesting composition. You place your subject in there and you take a photo. And again, play with lights and shadows and contrast. See how the subject is darker than the rest of the frame, which is brighter? This intuitively guides your eye to that subject because there's contrast and the subject is in a frame. Does it make sense? Technique number two. Symmetry. I think we all kind of understand what it means when everything is perfectly equal on either side of the frame. I think we all know what it means because we're innately familiar with it. Every time you look in a mirror, that's what you see. Your left side of the face is equal and proportional to your right side of the face. I hope. Using symmetry and finding symmetry in your environment to put your subject in is a great technique to guide the eye of the viewer to that subject. Again, photography is all about guiding, is all about inviting your viewer. It's all about telling that story and telling your viewer where to look. Hey, look here. Take a look at these photos. See how Geny has found symmetry in the environment and placed her subject right in the middle. See how everything is symmetrical and looks pleasing to the eye? Delicious looking photos. Here's some more examples on how to use symmetry. Now, whenever you take photos on your phone, do you really have to do it symmetrically all the time? Absolutely not. It's just for you to know that you have that technique in your pocket and you can use it sometimes. Technique number 3. Scale, and I would also say depth, is one of the most important things in photography, I think personally, because we want to know as a viewer, how far is the subject? How small is the subject? How big is the subject? Where is the subject? How big is this environment? How far is the photographer from the subject? Is this landscape a big place? Is it a small place? Are those mountains big or are they small? Now, how do we understand scale in photography? Geny is using this rule in every single photo that she takes on her phone. Now, take a look at this photo. As you can clearly see, we have some sort of structure with stairs and a window and some building. There's a little subject down there under those stairs. Now, if I were to take him away, boop, and he's gone, would you understand how far or how big or how small or how wide is that structure? Isn't it easier to understand the scale of that structure if we put the guy back? Boom. Wow, okay, he's there. And if you remove him, oh, okay, it's something. I don't know how big or how wide or how small. Is this a miniature? Is this a real thing? I have no idea. Again, remember, you always want to spoon feed your audience. Guide them to the subject. Show them the scale, because that's what they love. Take a look at this photo, for example. We do understand that there's a subject and she's moving and she's against a wall. Remove the subject, suddenly it's a little harder to tell what you're looking at. How big is that wall? Is that a wall? And take a look at this photo. Remove the girl from the photo and everything becomes unclear. How big is the structure? What am I looking at? Is that a river? Is that a sea? Is that a lake? How big is it? How wide is it? How far away is it from me? I can't really tell without that little subject in there. Use people as a measuring stick in your photography, especially if you're doing landscape photography. Place that little subject in that beautiful landscape and automatically, suddenly, I understand what I'm looking at. How big things are, how far away from me they are. I have a sense of scale. Okay, you might say, Max, but I don't have friends. When I shoot landscape photography, there's nobody to place in that landscape. To that, I'll say, I feel you. We're on the same page there. But you can use subjects and objects that are familiar to us and place them inside your photo. Geny, very creative. And number 4. Contrast. Why do we use contrast? Contrast is an awesome technique that you can use to guide your viewer's eye and attention to your subject. Take a look at this photo. Pay attention to where you're looking at in this photo. I don't think you're looking here or here or here. No, you're looking exactly here. And why is that? Because Geny has used contrast to guide your eye to the subject. In this case, the subject is darker than the little door around him. It creates contrast. It guides your eye to that subject. How about this one? Again, observe. Where on this photo are you looking at? Are you looking here? Are you looking there? Maybe here? I am willing to bet that you're looking directly at the subject. In this case, the subject, again, is darker than the environment around her. And that contrast guides you to that subject. Take a look at this photo. What is that? That's Burj Khalifa. We've seen it a million times. I look out the window, it's right there. I have seen so many pictures of Burj Khalifa, and all of them are same. But see how Geny uses contrast to guide your eye to Burj Khalifa. The sky and Burj Khalifa is brighter in this case than the little environment around it. Contrast guides your eye and your viewer's attention to the subject. Use contrast. Here are some more photos. Take a look at this one. The bicycle rider and the ground is darker than the sky. We have amazing contrast between light values. Sky is brighter, everything else is darker. You are guided directly to the bicycle rider. I love this one as well. Look at that contrast. The subject is darker than the wall around him. That guides you directly to the subject. And it's the same story here. Burj Al Arab is brighter than the rest of the environment. Number 5. What the hell is a leading line? A leading line is a line that guides your eye to the subject. Tells your viewer, hey, look here. Guys, remember, with photography, you really want to have an intent. There's a reason why you took that photo. There's a reason why you're showing that photo to them. And there's a few techniques you use to pull them inside. Leading lines is one of those techniques. You have leading lines of the road converging and making a vanishing point, pointing you to that girl on the skate. How about this one? You have all these lines on these walls, pointing you and guiding you and telling you, hey, come here, come here, this is the subject right here, look here. And here we have the staircase guiding your view to that subject. The handle rails, the staircase, everything is guiding you up towards that subject. Leading lines, the easiest, cheapest, and dirtiest trick in the book. This is the part in the tutorial where I shut the hell up and you tell me in the comments down below what techniques do you see here in this photo. Really, pause the video and take your time and really look at this photo and tell me what techniques can you notice. Comment down below, I really want to see it. Hey, welcome back. How many did you identify? I will check the comments and I'll see how many you guys got right, and let's take a look at a few more photos. How many techniques can you identify in this one? Would you say there's symmetry in there? Did Geny use lights and shadows to create an interesting frame? Are there any leading lines? Ooh, how about this one? What techniques can you identify here? Do we use symmetry? Do we have framing? Do we have contrast? Leading lines? Man, Geny, you are incredible. Honestly, I don't know how you find these frames, but wow. All right, homework for today. I am challenging you today to go outside and take photos using your phone and utilize some of these techniques that you learned. The most important thing to remember when you take photos on the phone, or video for that matter, is clean your goddamn lens. Clean it. Yeah, just like that, just like that. You see that? Rub it in there. Hey, what are you waiting for? Go outside, it's time to shoot. You have homework. Remember all the pictures that you take to tag Geny on Instagram and tell her, hey Geny, I learned this from you. Tag her and annoy the hell out of her. She's gonna be happy. Cheers.